we could have simply said, you know what, no, because discovery closed, due diligence was not done, or for whatever reason.
Okay, it's financial. It's financial, and I can't force the financial. And if somebody wanted the expert, I would, yes, court appoint them, but somebody would have to pay if they wanted that court-appointed expert. And if you disagree, Stacey, then we'd have to drop Holland unless you want to continue paying her without prejudice, because the only reason how it works is at the conclusion of the trial, if, depending on what the outcome of the trial is, you may seek reimbursement for having to front the money and pay Holland to prove your case, I presume. But she's sort of neutral in that respect, in that she's court appointed, but you're submitting all the payments to her. But if you can't, I can't force it on you either to continue to pay her due to financial hardship on your side as well. So I leave that option with you, and you're fronting the money, but based on the outcome, you may seek the reimbursement depending on the outcome of the trial. So that's kind of how it would work. All right. The findings, I'm over time, so I don't want to have to mute you guys.
Oh, Crystal Whipple had messaged that she was available, but I understand. I'll tell her. I'll let her know.
Well, we're going to do this. I'll keep an eye. Okay, I'll keep an eye and monitor how the visits are going. Number one. Number two, certainly Crystal Whipple. She's still the active counselor for Preston. I will direct the guardian ad litem to, have a phone conference or Zoom meeting with Crystal to get additional context and information about what's going on with Preston, so Preston can have a proper voice to the court. Number three, Ms. Whipple can be available at the next status check on how visits are going, because I'm going to order the visits. Number four, Ms. Whipple can now write her report, since we didn't get it in time for today's hearing, but it's not going to delay or hold up the initiating of visits. Number five, the JEA will do an amended order setting trial for the future trial dates. And again, right now, due to the extremely heavy calendar load and being backed up 5 months since March, April, May, June, July, August, we're five months backed up due to COVID and finishing up other trials. It's difficult. So right now we're doing the early dates in early 2021. Mind you, you could stay Department I, you could be randomly reassigned to the 4 brand new judges. Like in all my other unfinished trials, 3 of them opted for the in-person. I actually, gave them a choice, but this is the type of case we have to do this case in person because the judge needs to see everybody in the courtroom, and we can't testify with masks on. So with the mask on, I cannot see the facial demeanors. We can't do it by blue jeans because there's lots of exhibits, and there's just, it can't be done with this, the complexity of this trial. So it's going to have to be set for in person at a point where we don't have the masks on. But the new judge, they might have a different policy than me. And with the masks on, you don't want to say somebody's going to complain that the judge wasn't able to see their facial demeanors, etc. And there is because of the COVID death, 14 cases, there might be some unreported cases. It's possible there are court employees that don't know that they're COVID positive, and they still continue to come to work, come into the building, exposing themselves to everyone. And also with the 5 deputy marshals, it's really difficult at this point right now. We will continue to monitor that, on an ongoing basis. So you're still on my radar in terms of if I can get back into the courthouse. Again, neither one of us here that's present at this hearing is privy or mandated to disclose whether or not, they have underlying conditions that place you at risk, whether or not you have a family member that also could, want to place at risk, et cetera. And Mr. Cercio also with his law office. I'm not going to require Mr. Cercio. It's his option at any time if there's an in-person visit available. It's just not going to happen right now at his law office. Could we don't have any, and I don't want to bring anybody, we could offer up space in our courthouse, but that's kind of worse because it's a very, very public building. But you'll have to work those logistics out with Mr. Cercio. But at a minimum, he is to continue with every 30 days is a good recommendation to do a checkup on Preston, so Preston can add more information about, what his voice to the court is. And for context, yes, Mr. Cercio will get with Crystal Whipple regarding that. The child appears to be stable based on his voice. He's relaxed. I would have to admonish both sides. Again, do not discuss the litigation. Do not disparage the other party, the other side of the family. And do not, don't bring up matches. Don't bring up a couch part, metal part. You're supposed to just pretty much enjoy your time with the child and keep him, stress-free. Stress-free. He had 6 months. I do have one question to both sides, and we'll keep it brief. Give me short answers. Obviously, I can't go on forever. I'm going to ask it to Alyssa. Did Mom, Alyssa, send any pictures or videos or any updates to the paternal side of the family, considering they had no contact in 6 months? So you got completely nothing, other than just maybe what you find out from Cercio.
Right. And it was
not to. So I wrote to her several times.
my mom wrote to her several times on the Talking Parents to wish Kristen a happy birthday and see how he's doing.
And asked her if she needed anything.
Oh, and to ask her if she needed anything during the
COVID
COVID.
began, because I was working and she wasn't. And
Right.
I can't,
It's 6 months. You guys are very polarized. I can't hold it against Alyssa because the order was, yes, we would suspend the in-person contact. I just asked because logically to me, if she wanted to send a picture or a video, one way, that is not going to harm Preston because 6 months, he's probably an inch taller. Maybe he gained weight, lost weight, or here's an activity he's doing. I would have I would have obviously seen no harm sending it one way just to keep them apprised. I mean, one of the best interests of the child factors is promoting a relationship, but these parties are so polarized. A court will potentially might weigh in on that. The door was not closed on that, but everybody is very, very attuned to strict orders as far as that with no contact. This child is fragile. So I'm saying I'm not going to hold it against Alyssa. I just thought I would ask if she had done that. But she said she was following court orders. So, I don't know if I would have signed that and wait if we were in the trial today. So, we'll initiate we'll do the visits in terms of what the purpose of what the suspending of the contact was. Obviously, was to get the child stabilized. It appears that it's been helping. We don't have the report from Crystal Whipple. I don't know if we'll hear anything differently, but we'll monitor this. So Mr. Cercio is going to, starting from today, we'll have the 30-day mark. So we will have the 30-day mark. You'll have one Zoom meeting with Preston. He may opt for an extra Zoom meeting or do that Zoom meeting from Stacy's house during her visitation time, so we get a different context there, and how Preston talks to his attorney from the paternal family's house. as a matter of this visit is granted for Stacy. There was a change in the middle of the trial or in the middle of the litigation, because Stacy was going to pursue obviously the custody or at a minimum visitation rights, and Marianne obviously she somewhat kind of took a back seat to that, and so Cheryl Barnes was representing Stacy. But Stacy's kind of the main party on the paternal side, so I'm going to reinitiate the visits with Stacy. It's for Stacy, kind of Stacy only, but if Grandma wants to have contact Stacy, it's your visits. Right now, I don't know. Obviously, there's so many things going on both sides. Grandma obviously can have the contact with Preston, but I will ask you, Stacy, and I'm sure you won't have any objection, that if Grandma would have contact with Preston, that it would be Stacy and Grandma together, basically. Because, Stacy, I'm giving you your visits. So if Grandma's going to come around or tag along, that it'd be Stacy and Grandma. It could be Stacy and Preston, have them for the visits. The child does not appear, based on his voice, he wants to see his Aunt Stacy. He wondered if she was there with Bob. And so I will rule that Stacy's visits would resume. We will monitor that for 30 days. We'll come back to court with a Whipple report, an updated supplemental GAL report. Could be 1 or 2 pages, or nothing extensive like the first initial report, on how the visits are going and anything else that Preston wants to tell the court. Those visits, I believe, were weekend visits. Is that correct, Stacy?
Yes. Your Honor, for reinstating that, and I just want to confirm, not that I have any concern whatsoever about my mother being around him unsupervised. For the purpose of this litigation, I have completely did a process of elimination and taken her out of the picture because of the allegations Alyssa had Preston saying, which only left me. And when Preston was around my mom, it was basically the entire family or me or myself. So I will continue to do that, so you can see that it's not any of us, but it's Alyssa, and she's coaching him to say that. I do want to request, however, that my sister Damara, and this was the way that it was before, that she's allowed to do the pickups and drop-offs, just in case I'm tied up on a meeting for work or anything. It's good to have a backup and not it be solely on me.
Well, wait a minute. Marianne would be a driver?
No, not Marianne. My sister Damara. She was the one that testified on the court.
Yeah. Did I authorize that before?
Yes. She was the other person that was able to do the pickoffs, just because she literally lives right down the street from Alyssa.
If I authorize and order that, then that order can be reactivated. Damara can help with transport.
Yes.
I'm okay with that.
Are you working from home, or you're a school administrator or teacher?
Okay.
Yes, Stacy.
No, I'm actually a federal contractor for the U.S. government, and I do work from home.
Oh, okay. I thought I'm for some reason I thought you had worked for a school. Okay.
No, I do.
All right, good. So you're quarantining at home and sheltering in place. So Preston will obviously, you'll follow the quarantine shelter place, and we do like everybody else does. So your visits will take place. Preston will stay home unless you go to a park or something. But we do the social distancing. I just have to ask a couple of protocols. May sound silly, but I have to make sure you have appropriate sanitary supplies in your house.
I even bought him a little mask.
Okay, yeah, you have little masks for him, reusable, washable masks. You still have his set of clothes, extra clothing, outfits there, everything he needs, correct?
Yes, he has 2 bedrooms here. His clothes are probably too small, so I will have to buy him new clothes, but that's not an issue.
And so it would be permissible, like if you need to go to Walmart, Target, or whatever to go shopping to get him clothes or
right.
new outfits. That's fine. So we'll follow that protocols in both households. And was it every weekend or one weekend? What was the old order?
The initial
Every other week.
No, the initial order was every weekend, and then Alyssa started having him say things about me, and then it switched to every other weekend. But that time, that distance in between allows him to burn me. And then no one, by the time I get him, the marks are old, so there really isn't anything that anyone can do.
Alyssa's attorney wanted gradual, so I'm going to go with the every other weekend. Feel free to, take some videos of your interactions discreetly, obviously, like what you do, photos, family photos, and feel free to file them. Just, one or two, just to see. If you do have a video, send them on Dropbox and send the link, and send it. Obviously, anything you file or send to us, you have to send it to Miss Lay. And if that's the way I could see how the videos are going. Alyssa, you can also do the same thing. What's been going on recently? What activities have you done in the summertime with Preston? I could see what's going on in your household. So we'll get a Crystal Whipple report. A Hannah is also a involved counselor. So I don't know if they're going to write a joint report from Hope Counseling, or Crystal's taking the lead. Yeah, you guys work it out. One or both. And we'll get an updated report from Mr. Cercio. Okay.
Should I be put on a service list or rely upon? Okay.
Yes, the GAL obviously will be copied on everything and be on the eServe list of anything filed. So today starts day one. You have a 30-day mark to schedule a visit. And like I said, for contacts, maybe a Zoom check with at Stacy's house. So, but it is on a weekend, Mr. Cercio. I don't know.
It's not a problem. I work all the time.
Oh, I appreciate that. I really appreciate your pro bono efforts here. And we'll set this out 45 days. Everybody has 45 days to be there. Well, I don't know, 30-day mark. It might be, I'd say 6 to 8 weeks out. That will take us to September, third week or last week of September, Jeffrey Ann in the courtroom. Can you help me find a date?
Would you like
Your
to-
Honor, thank you for
This
being.
is probably an hour slot.
An hour?
And I know it, and I'll try to keep it to an hour. We went way over time, and I've got I think a 10 o'clock case is waiting for me, an emergency case. So we need to wrap it up with a court date, and we'll start. We'll start this week, and then still have the every other. The times are.
I know, but I'm now doing homeschooling, so it's not going to be picked up at the school. It's not going to. It's completely different. So.
Can we do the pick up and drop off at either Bob's or Holland's? Actually, I would like to do the drop off at Holland's office on Monday at.
No, I can't do that. That's on the other side of the world, and I don't have gas money.
You have a car now, and I've been going to that side.
Okay, I muted both of you. Either, if you guys are it'd have to be at the family court gate. I don't know what the halfway point is to your houses. If we were going to do the school, you could still kind of do it at the school, if that was agreed upon before. It's not my job to make it convenient for both of you and the gas money and all that, but we have to do the transport. You want your visits to happen? I mean,
Your Honor, I have a suggestion.
Yeah.
How about there are McDonald's all over the place? They can pick a midpoint McDonald's, and the parties can go in and grab a soda with a time stamp receipt to show when they arrived.
I would suggest to Stacy also, look, I'm reinitiating your visits. If it means a few dollars, few cents of gas to go pick up from Melissa, you are going to get to see Preston. So you want to just, at least for the next 45 days, receiving parent to pick up.
Your Honor, the gas isn't the issue. I want it to be at a third-party intervention. I want Holland to do an observation on him when I drop him off. So I'm going to schedule visits with her so he can see her when he's directly coming from my house, so that can mitigate.
I don't know if Holland will do it on a Friday. You're supposed to start at 3 o'clock, aren't you, when school starts?
Well, when I'm dropping him off, I'll drop him off on the Monday.
You can do it on a Friday or a Monday. Does Alyssa live near Holland's office?
Yeah, Holland's on that side of town. I mean, it's not down the street. Like, it wasn't exactly convenient like it was for her at the school. But I mean, this is for the litigation purposes and to eliminate the accusations from her. I want Holland to do an observation when he's coming directly from my home. So she can't have him say it.
If Holland can do it, is there going to be an issue with Alyssa dropping off at Dr. Holland's office? Ms. Lay?
She's going to make an issue.
They dropped off. Oh, they're trying to, looks like they dropped off. Now some guest is appearing. They lost internet connection.
Yes, Your Honor. I just want to have a third party involved. That way, this back and forth and the accusations we can put an end to this.
I don't know if they're listening in. I can't. I don't want to have one-sided conversations while we're recording. And okay. I just looked at my computer, and it looks like they had dropped off. But there's a guest there.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. Hello?
Now there's a 5205 number. That must be Miss Lay's cell phone.
I'm sorry. Hi, hello. We just dialed in. I'm sorry, the iPad died.
When did you drop off? What part did you miss?
We dropped off with the McDonald's, and you stated after Mr. Sergio discussed, and you were going into the McDonald's.
Okay. Listen, I'm out of time. If the parties continue and not figure it out, you guys can continue talking if you want to do a reasonable location. All I can say is it would be either at family court. It would be at family.
Yeah, we can keep it at family court. We're fine with family court. We just need to set a time, and we're good.
So Alyssa got to spend gas, and Stacey got to spend gas, and come to the family court. There are video cameras there. It's 24/7. It'll be Friday at, he's going to do virtual school. Friday at 3 o'clock still seems appropriate.
Can we do it at 5 o'clock? Because we have class in the morning.
You have class in the morning? What does that have to do with it?
We have homeschooling now.
When does it end?
It's at 4:30, so I mean...
It ends at 4:30, Your Honor, so would 5 o'clock be okay?
No, Your Honor, I would like a third-party intervention in this, just to put an end to all these allegations, and now she's saying that I'm the one telling him this.
I don't have an issue with that. But I
don't
don't
have to do with what time we're picking up and dropping off.
And the school, what time does school end?
We stop at 4:30.
Okay, so they stop at 4:30, Your Honor. She is homeschooling this child. She's not doing it through Clark County. Just so you are aware, she decided that she was going to homeschool Preston.
Well, as far as the homeschooling...
Sorry, we were muted.
Yeah, I muted you because I wanted to... I'm sorry. I'm going an hour and a half. I'm 30 minutes late. I've kept Mr. Sergio on from his very busy schedule. And I need to finish the ruling on this case, and I can't have the parties arguing on this. And it's not productive to listen for you guys go on at each other for another hour just to figure out where to pick up Preston, obviously. So the default...
For a fair assessment, to have a third-party intervention so the court can better understand.
I heard what you said, so please let me finish my ruling. I heard what you said. Logistics is a problem, okay? If Dr. Holland will assist you with the logistics, I will ask Ms. Lay to tell her client to comply because if it's important to Holland's report, I will ask the mom to comply unless she has a really good reason. And I don't want to hear excuses like my car broke down, okay? So please don't interrupt. Okay, I'm tired of this. The default order is at the family courthouse because it's the safest place and there are video cameras there. Both sides will obviously, per the prior orders, I believe there's prior orders, they're allowed to record audio and video just for each of their protection on the he said, she said. It'll be Friday at 3 o'clock until, what time does it normally end? Per the court order, we're going to follow the order. Is it 6 o'clock?
Monday at 3.
Oh, Monday at 3?
Yes.
Okay, so it'll have to be... Stop! I'm going to mute you. It'll end at Sunday I'll end it at 6 o'clock because of the schooling, the virtual schooling. Okay? I don't know what the distance learning is with the Clark County School District. Sometimes they're just doing the Zoom meeting classes in the morning and then they're done. And then it might be half days. You get me more information on that, but I just don't see it will impact. This order impacts on Preston's schooling. Status check, Ms. Clark. Did you type in a date?
No, I didn't.
Look.
I was waiting for you to instruct me on that.
Oh,
But
well-
you want a 1 hour slot?
You didn't find anything, Jeffrey Ann?
I can do a 1 hour slot.
This is set for an hour.
But
Okay,
it's gonna
third
take-
week in September. We
Okay, I
have
can set it from. Do you want it on a Monday or a Tuesday?
Thursday the 17th. I can put you on. Thursday the 17th at from 9 to 10.
I'm good with that, Your Honor.
I appreciate that, Mr.
You
Cercio.
said
9:17. I'm going to type in the chat box at 10. 9:17, 9 to 10 a.m. This will go in the court minutes. It's a 1 hour slot, and Blue Jeans link sent to the GAL, to Whipple. I believe they're going to join us. Okay? All right. I don't know where Holland is in terms of what she's doing and gathering information, but she's still in the middle of doing her evaluation in the middle of this trial. But because I only have an hour setting, we can just see her input. I don't know if she'll have a report, but that's really more of a trial issue from the evaluators, from the court standpoint. So that's more of a trial issue. Put it also in the chat box here. JEA shall file an amended order setting trial. Stacy starts her visits this weekend. Okay, Friday at 3 to what do you call it? Sunday at 6 p.m. It's still daylight out in the summertime, so you have to be at the family court gate. Okay, hopefully that's enough time for you to write your report. One of these 2 weekend visits is going to happen, Mr. Cercio.
No problem.
Thank you. All right, we'll get reports. I'll see if I can. I'll have a JEA put a reminder maybe like a week before we meet up to see if those reports are in there. We try our best. And Mr. Cercio, just transmit your report straight to the court, and then we would disseminate it under a confidential gag order, obviously to both sides electronically. Same.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Jeffrey Ann, go off the record, and I'll see you at the next court hearing. Thank you.
Your Honor.
And who's to prepare, Judge? Who's going to prepare?
Thank you, Your Honor.